was shocked.
Guys, how are you verifying your stories? Do you check? I'm curious.
Maybe it's not so bad because robots will fight against robots. Why we even need the fight?
People who are busy trying to survive every single day.
Get tired from disinformation, from all this craziness of the world.
What Ben Affleck is doing in AI. Sold for, hang on a minute, $600 million.
Call you and say, hello, baby.
I say hot, hot, hot. Stop. Did you just doom scroll, watch a get ready with me video? Almost buy a jumper you don't actually need and pour wine like it is a survival skill. Same.
I'm Nina, tech evangelist, investor, serial social entrepreneur, nonprofit founder, and I'm absolutely obsessed with starting and running impact projects.
And I'm Maitri, storyteller, international journalist, a former TV anchor, media founder, and someone who's mildly obsessed with connecting politics, business, and the chaos all around us. This is your sanity break, where we're trying to make sense of an insane world just like you.
Welcome to our group chat.
Hey, Nina, you know what? I woke up this morning and I figured that AI now dominates everything in our lives, whether it is stories about war or the kind of stories I cover about the economy or inflation, like going to the grocery store and figuring out everything's expensive, but somehow it goes back to AI, or people crying to me about their boyfriends or their dating situations. It feels like it's run amok in our lives, and I'm so worried. Are you?
We absolutely on the same page. I mean, I have those thoughts in my mind for the last couple days. You know, I was reading all those headlines about how the Gen Z, for example, like sharing all their problem right now with the different chats, how as well AI algorithms influencing the young generation, our generation, in terms what actually the modern dating should look like. And what is super interesting, right? They really looking back how it was before, where a woman was on the kitchen and don't have too much rights to do anything. And that surprised me a lot. And as well, how actually AI and technology are widely used in all the wars that are happening on the planet. And for me, as a mom, you know, who has 5 months old daughter,
Oh,
it's
she's
like
entering a
over.
whole different world.
Yeah, it's like completely overwhelming because from one side, I really worried about what's the future we are building for her. From another side, I have already too much to worry with my postpartum brain, you know, on my plate. So it's really to me feel like we are living in some bad movie, with bad conspiracy, and at some point it will get us somewhere, but I don't know where, like, you know. So I really want to talk with you today about that trends. And I really want as well to go back why we actually doing this podcast, right? Because couple episodes ago, we have decided with you to start it. And there was a reason for that, right?
I mean, yeah, it was the whole idea that it was all getting too much, feeling really depressed. I mean, I'm a journalist. I have to do this for a living. And the scariest thing for a journalist is when you start getting immune to the story and you start treating it like just another story. And that's something I didn't want happening. But I also don't want to be in this constant state of stress when I'm talking about these things to people who are running these companies or telling us that, oh, don't worry, my company is doing so good now and you should only use my company's products, when they don't have anything to back it up, because 1 year down the road we'll find that, you know, they might not have exactly been ethical. So for me it was
You don't
getting
want to
too much.
manipulate, right? You don't want to manipulate people. You just want to share your like honest opinion, right? And like really have a group chat discussion.
I think it's a group chat. It's also kind of a place where things that I don't understand that I'm covering, I can ask you. And then things that I cover that you are kind of grappling with is what you ask me. And I think that's where we came from, that there's some sense and
Absolutely.
sensibility that we're not going crazy in our own heads thinking about it.
Exactly.
And that's how conspiracy theories get born, right? Oh my God, is this XYZ happening? And you've been a
Exactly.
good check on me for that one. So despite the
And you
postpartum brain.
and you've been good check on me too. So folks, we could promise you one thing, that that's a place where of course maybe not as sharing the smartest idea of what's going on in the world, but very honest ideas. And we are welcoming you to join this group chat. So please, really, if you see us first time, subscribe us. If you're already following us for some time, just leave your comments. We want to hear you. We want to find the way to explain you and share our thoughts and hear your voice and really make sure that we're not disconnected from the global agenda and that we building our future together. Because for me as for mother, it's super important to stay connected and really be in control, at least where I can be in control. And talking, by the way, about control, right?
Yeah.
Where we should start. There is so many headline that was popping up in terms, again, AI controlling the life in
AI,
all the
AI,
different
AI, AI,
perspectives.
AI.
AI. I could share with you what was bothering me a lot. And as a mother of the daughter, I read this basically research that was posted by Bloomberg, where they asked Gen Z male population about what the modern family should look like, and over 61% like really objectifies the woman and sees the woman as a person who should stay at home and literally be at the kitchen, take care of the family and so on. And I was shocked. I mean, it's a Gen Z, right? I mean, from one side, I understand that this population was raised during pandemic. This population was raised through the AI evolution. But why do you want that? They as well ask the Gen Z woman, right? Of course, Gen Z woman was completely on the opposite side. And I believe we're living in the time where the woman can do everything. But the global agenda, what is happening with the woman overall, is showing us very concerning signs. So honestly, this for me, this research was a kind of boom, 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 ring the bell. What's going on? Guys, why you even want that? What do you think about that?
You're feeling the surprise in 2026. The first time I got this surprise was about 3 years ago when the first of this data started coming out. And it was very clear that, and it was a research report that was done about leaders and leadership, not just general public. And it was about the trust in women leaders. And 3 years ago, the data showed that there was, Gen Z had lost trust in women leaders, the men, and also some of the women. And then the graph, to be academic about it, went like a nosedive. It just dipped. And inevitably, this has been on the trajectory for the last 3 to 4 years that, if I can be blunt about it, artificial intelligence and social media has also dramatically changed in its landscape. So, for example, you have a lot of these red pill podcast guys out there talking about masculinity and hyper masculinity and telling
Exactly.
young men to be successful, they need to be hyper masculine. They need to be paying for everything because if they feel like a failure, it's because they are not good enough. And it says something about the way that maybe we are talking to young men as well about the success of girls. We're making it sound like every girl on every part of the planet is successful, but we're
Yeah.
not. We struggle. We still get paid much less. We have to work that much harder. We have to get questioned at every corner of our careers. And then most of us have to take a break when we, have
Yeah.
babies, as you would know.
Exactly.
Where else, husbands have the choice to take paternity leave or not. I just think that it's a lot of the AI systems that are chucking things in there, and
Yeah.
it's very clear that
Algorithms, right?
yeah, the algorithms just,
Mm.
I think, reward that kind of negativity. And I think researchers have been warning about this for a decade or so, saying the
Yeah.
algorithms that we're training our stuff on are really, really biased. They're biased by gender, they're biased by race and ethnicity. So they're trying to fit a model that maybe works for a tiny minority across the world. So you see this
Yeah.
whole thing spreading, which
Exactly.
is
So
bad.
Exactly, and that's how it's all right now interconnected, right? We're living during the times where the war created by by males, right? Where their companies, biggest tech companies, are run by males, where the algorithms prioritize actually working males. And we have just recently chat with you, I mean, about the LinkedIn, about the social media, how
Yeah.
it's complicated right now to like really stand out with female oriented content or just with female leadership. So it is concerning. It is very concerning. From another side, what is completely again was putting me down when I was reading this, the headline that in 2026, Uber, right? From the good
Know the story.
perspectives, obviously, from the good perspective, created opportunity for females to be able to order drive with a female driver. And why it's happened? Because they get enormous amount of complaints about assaults during the during the trips. So what the hell is going on? I mean, 2026, women cannot feel safe in the car, in the taxi, while they are driving to the work, to the friends. It feels like, I don't know, maybe I'm exaggerated, maybe just all my postpartum hormones, but like it feels that there is no single place in the world where I actually feel safe because of technology, because of the war, and because of the males. I mean, I'm really sorry. Maybe I'm right now sounds like very provocative, but that's how I feel, and I want to be able to speak about that.
I hear you. It feels like it's a gender war. There,
Exactly,
and
exactly.
that's what I warn against because that's what the algorithm rewards. It rewards you saying, I feel attacked by men. And same for boys. It rewards things that says, oh, I hate women or women should be in the kitchen. It rewards these very extreme and provocative, angry kind of storytelling. And
That's
that's
what Elon
great.
Musk said, right? This is what Elon Musk said because he just another one headline. He recently acknowledged, right, that his actually AI chat was built a bit wrongly, and it was rewarding, right, the provocative communication in his
No,
social
those are two
media.
different stories. Two different
Okay,
stories.
tell
So,
me what it was.
and both connected. So you're not
Okay.
completely off. So in January, he released the formula for how the Grok or the X algorithm works, how you get more
Mm-hmm.
followers and profile on X, and it basically showed that it rewards certain kinds of creators, and those certain kinds of creators were very angry, very polarized,
Mm-hmm.
very much rewarded for those angry kind of rants. Then this last week, he has gone out and actually said, and that was shocking enough because it gave you a clear line of sight of how these social media algorithms work. But then this week, he said that essentially his XAI was built wrong. Like the whole
Mm-hmm.
thing is just a bad piece of software, which essentially says, hang on a minute, if XAI was just built wrong and you have to start from scratch, what has Grok been putting out there for all these years? And then what does that say about the LinkedIn algorithm? What does it say about, Instagram, TikTok, all of these other things, which kind of learn from each other at some point? So that's the worrying trend that after the fact, they can turn around and say, oh, it was built wrong, but you've already affected society, you've affected war zones badly. And there's
Yeah.
misinformation, disinformation floating around, and people don't know whether up is down and down is up.
And here I really want to ask our folks, actually, our listeners, do you feel manipulated by social media? Do you really feel that algorithms is tricking you? And do you see what we see? I mean, I would be very, very, very interested to hear your opinion on that. But listen, if continue building on what you said, right now the
Mm.
dots are literally connecting we have AI behind all of that. I mean, we're talking a lot right now about security, about ethics, about how actually we greatly be living all together with AI, with machine, with
Mm.
robots, etc. But then there is the algorithms, right, that is manipulating our opinion, that is educating young generation and the future young generation about what is a traditional system should look like, where the male has a permanent dominating role. It is technology that is empowers those males to fight like for the territory, like create all those situations that completely take away from our kids, from us, not just opportunity to live normally, but everything, causing financial problem, like losing the jobs. I mean, that's the headlines that we're reading all time, right? That young generation cannot find the job nowadays. It's like super complicated. And from another side, we recently as well saw the how the tech bros, right, gambling the debt credit in Silicon Valley. I mean, that's
Yeah.
another example. I mean, do you want to talk more a bit about that? I would love you to explain as well to our listeners that part.
I think let's start with the tech bros, and let's
Yeah,
start with this whole situation where they tell you, and I love this saying that Sam Altman used to have when he was building his previous companies. He'd just go like, "Just trust me, bro," and
yeah,
everything was about "just trust me, bro." And then Elon Musk had a similar kind of take of, "Don't look at what I'm doing at the back, but just trust me," right? At some point, I think I will give Alex Karp at Palantir a lot of credit for being now openly blunt about what's about to happen. I want you, Nina, to take a listen to what he said to CNBC a couple of days ago.
And military and working class people who do not feel supported. And you feel like you believe that that's going to work out politically. You're in an insane asylum. Like, that you cannot have it. This technology disrupts humanity's trained, largely Democratic voters, and makes their economic power less, and increases the economic power of vocationally trained, working class, often male voters. And so these disruptions are going to disrupt every aspect of our society.
Now, think about it, okay? Think about what he's saying. He's used the word disruption through that interview so many times I lost count. But what was interesting was what he pointed to, saying algorithms are going to, first of all, disenfranchise highly educated women who tend to be in America's politics, Democrats, so usually left leaning for the rest of the world. And it will empower people who do everyday labor jobs, which is usually young men or men on the leaning towards the right because they are working class and
yeah.
that's how they've traditionally voted. So
MAGA,
at some
basically MAGA people.
and yeah, MAGA people in America. But if you translate that and extrapolate that to Europe or to
Okay.
other parts of the world, it's a pretty similar trajectory of people who are highly educated tend to kind of be left leaning in their social thinking, and people who are, busy trying to survive every single day. And I don't blame them for this. They don't have time to go, think about world problems. They're trying to survive tomorrow. So they tend to be more right leaning, conservative in their thinking because that's the world they know. If
Yeah,
he's saying that's what my
yeah,
algorithm does, while at the
yeah,
same time promoting his company's work doing research in war zones to bring that technology back, people behave very weirdly in war zones. And then you bring that technology back into everyday society, you've got to wonder what that algorithm is learning,
yeah,
right? I
yeah.
think
No,
that's one of the key issues.
yeah, and I do believe that for other listeners, it's very important to understand that part, because that part is actually should give you the reason why you need to stay on top of global agenda. Because I understand that right now more and more people become disconnecting, right, from the internet, because they get tired to be manipulated, that get tired from disinformation, that get tired from all this craziness of the world. And we saw it as well recently in another headline where it was said that the like Gen Zs right now really want to buy those analog laptops for like couple hundreds that doesn't has connection to the
Yeah, brick phone. They
yeah,
all want the old
exactly.
Nokias that we
The
used to
the
have.
old
Yeah.
Nokia, exactly, where you could only call, your mom could only call you and say, "Hello, baby."
When are you coming
Ongoing.
home?
When you coming home, exactly. Where are you? Yeah. So, yeah, all moms like moms, right? I'll be the same mom.
No,
I
before
can
the days of Uber, they were like checking on us even then. So it's not like the
yeah.
problem didn't exist then.
Exactly, exactly. So like, they just want to avoid all this pop-up notification that is impacting the mental health, so on, so on. But knowing that and see that trend, how to make sure that the future generation is stay involved with a global policy, how to make sure that they take a lead, that all these old school white males, I'm really sorry again today I have very provocative and I'm very angry as well. like really not rule our world for another 20 years. How to make it happen, like the only way I think is to have people in community who is honest, who creating the community and group chat like we trying to do with you, and really involve there and hear their opinion and really break down the things that are happening. And I really hope that we're doing part of this job. If not, folks, if you need more explanation, let us know. I mean, we are happy to like really do this job for you, and we would love to hear your voice too.
I really want folks to drop a comment and say what interests them nowadays. Why are if it's not the news, why are you not listening to the news? Is it because it's so negative, or because you don't see how it impacts you? Or is it just that, you have interests that are completely different? Because that again will be very telling for us whether we're doing our jobs and trying to tell you that whether you're interested in fashion, again, global affairs really does affect fashion, because guess what? Your supply chain for the cloth to the cotton to the silk, it is all dependent on shipping routes. It's dependent on oil prices. That Balenciaga bag, that trash bag that went viral, Nina, the
Yeah,
price of that
yeah,
is about 1750. That's about to become 5,000 if we can't get the leather out of China. Oh, by the
yeah,
way, that story about the Balenciaga trash bag of the actress who was carrying it,
yeah.
turned out it
It was his
was
information, right?
it was
Oh,
disinformation, because it looks completely different. The Balenciaga 1750 bag versus what she carried, because everyone was going mad. And Balenciaga is an easy target because they do sell very strange things. But it was just a plastic bag. It was an artistic expression. So I'm also curious. Like, guys, how are you verifying your stories? Do you check? Do you check?
yeah.
Or do you just keep sharing? I'm curious. So drop us a note.
And guess what? You already sad, right? Because we were talking about all this information, how it's easy as well, like to gamble around everything, not just news, not just geopolitics, but again about science, about pop culture, about fashion, like literally everything interconnected. Now, guess what? Right? I feel like all the social media magnates, all the stack bros, they see that, and they see that the people are actually trying to find the safe islands, and they started to disconnect from basically social media. But from another side, they are overconnect to the chats, and they sharing all their pains, right? They like literally using them as your psychotherapist. That's what is happening. And don't get me wrong, I'm sometimes as well using my chat as a psychotherapist to talk
Sometimes I
through.
do too.
I feel like I raised Mira in the first 3 months by asking like, "Oh, my kiddo has that and that. What should I do?" Like,
She's not
so,
let me sleep. Am I going mad?
am I going mad? Exactly. I mean, yeah. But what is Zuckerberg now doing, right? He bought basically this mold book about which we talk. It's social media for agents. We talk about this couple episodes before. Check it out, because I think he understands this, that this generation will continue to disconnect. So to influence them is to create a social media, or like continue to grow the social media for agents. So the agents will be influencing them back. And that
Yeah.
what like really, really scary me.
Am I scared about it anymore? Because considering that Moltbook was essentially a massive scam, I'm wondering what Meta is thinking doing that. How many did we find were actual accounts on there, Nina? There were like 730 out of some 2 million accounts that they were claiming. So
No,
it's a very strange purchase. I think the underlying technology is interesting. But if it is again used to manipulate,
I think it
spread
is
disinformation,
to
I kind
manipulate
of have.
agents. To
Yeah,
manipulate
and
agents.
that's I think the worrying thing, and you're absolutely right about that. To worry about that is when you need guardrails and you need safeguards, and no one other than the European Union has talked about guardrails and safeguards.
Yeah.
But then it's the European Union. It'll take them 25 years to come up with the rules to guardrail. But by that time, the AI would have taken over the world, and I probably will have robotic arms and,
Exactly.
a computer chip in my head. So it is terrifying to me. I agree. Because did you notice this story? Humanoid robots are now being sent into Ukraine
Oh yeah,
for
of course.
testing. Yeah.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
they're saying, oh, don't worry about it. We're only sending them in for reconnaissance. Now, these robots were used on factory floors. They're being sent into a war zone, and people are being told, oh, it's because we don't want soldiers to die and it'll become a robot versus robot war. But again, think of what those robots are learning as they are doing reconnaissance at the cost of a people that have been at war for 4 years in Ukraine.
It is terrifying. Just sorry. I mean, I feel like I want to like bring us back at least in this crazy world to some positive, or not positive, but some smile to our face. First of all, about
We could
this
do with
news,
it.
yeah,
We could do with it.
like that what we discussed as well about Chinese army, right? Because we saw that China is building all those robots and so on. There is a lot of discussion that maybe it's not so bad because robots will fight against robots. Why we even need the fight? My question is, right? Can we just live in the peaceful world, enjoying the life? I don't know, until we have all those right wings and all the crap that is going on in the world. Probably not. But my point is that.
Hypermasculinity, Nina. Hypermasculinity requires you to have a fight.
Oh, did you see that? Absolutely fine. Not funny. I mean, it's as well terrifying, but I was laughing.
Go on.
There was a robot who actually in China he was it or he or she, I don't know, the robot, right, was working in cafe, and then there was a woman passing by, and the robot started to follow her, and didn't want to leave. So in the end, it was arrested actually, and yeah, and the woman was claiming that, like, the robot was trying to assault her. So
Well, I
and
saw
the
another one of these robots. Oh my God. Okay. So this one made me laugh. And it was again a robot in China who basically was in a hot pot shop and it was
yeah.
serving and then decided to start dancing. And none of the staff could get it to stop dancing, which was like,
Yeah.
guys, if you can't control it, you might not want to put it out in the public domain. But it was
Exactly.
funny. It made a great
Exactly.
video.
Yeah, but pause for a second, and I know we're gonna move now to our hot or not section, but pause for a second. Imagine how crazy and how controversial world is. The technological company Uber, that is like, as well came from Silicon Valley, where there's already a lot of self-driving automating machine by Google,
Mm.
for example, right? Creating those cars where they need to have a female driver to drive the female so she feels safe. Why not then just to promote like self-driving cars where the female will feel safe by default because there is no one who would try to assault her. I think when my daughter will grow, right, and will hit like, I don't know, 14, 15, she would probably think how dumb our generation was, because all the researchers, everything is showing that the self-driving car is way more safer for any reasons, not just assaulting reason, sexual reason, harm reason, but actually for any reason, even car accident, etc. So why the people are blocking this technology and using technology to create the wars, to create the like mass, and like to really creating all this gender war and so on? That's what is still big question mark for me, and that's why we need those discussion, and we need you folks, young generation, start to talk about that. That's important. It's about your life as well, and life of your kids in the future. Anyway, I feel like a granny, like in 90 years old now with like,
I I have to say, I'm not looking forward to self-driving cars just because there are
why
so many
why
situations. Because Waymo has created so many problems, even during emergencies, where I
I
saw
disagree.
one of
Okay.
Waymo during a big crisis, like a shootout in Texas, which ended up blocking police cars and ambulances from reaching this massive shootout. And a police officer had to literally break into Waymo to get this car to move. And that's the most extreme. But I have to say, Nina, I don't disagree. I think we could focus on making this tech really, really good, right? Instead of
Good.
wasting our energy. I like your idea because my first gut reaction here in London when I saw a Waymo car drive right past my house, it was mapping it, obviously, and somebody was driving it, was, oh no, it's coming here. No,
Yeah.
London streets are too small. And I was like calling my friends, going, no, Waymo's here. We're going to have traffic jams. Isn't traffic bad
Yeah,
enough in
yeah,
London?
yeah. I
But
love
no,
Viva. I believe in it. I believe in this technology.
I'll believe in it if we all like switch our energies into tech that does good. Like tech for good is my cup of tea. But when we're doing all these
Exactly.
other things, it's kind of like, why, man?
Exactly. So people use the technology for good. Don't use it for bad. And talking about that, let's move to the hot or not part.
Oh, I love this section. So you guys have to like also drop in the comments what you thought was a hot story or a not story. So the first one I have for you, Nina, is something called
Sure.
rentahuman.ai. It's basically AI agents now renting human beings for real world tasks that they can't do, which was supposedly a big story across the world. It You basically get recommendations or requests from the AI agent saying, help me understand human feet for $1. Or hold up a cardboard sign that says, AI made me do this in
Oh,
public for $100. So
oh my
basically, it feels
God.
like another Molt book. It does feel a bit like Molt book, but hot or not?
Yeah, I like to be honest, it feels like it's a big disinformation, but I could imagine they doing that. They need to learn more about us. To me, it sounds super hot, funny, like hot, 100% hot.
If someone's going to pay me to like
The-
show them my feet, I'm okay with
yeah,
it.
I'm okay too. I will buy some Balenciaga bag, the trash one. So anyway, I have
OnlyFans will
one.
be very excited about this. Okay,
Yeah,
go on.
I
What's
I
yours?
have one for you as well. So that example how the tech is working for good. So one of the Australian techie, he adopted a doggo. The doggo that's supposed to live only 3 months is because it has already severe cancer. And instead of like accepting this destiny for this doggo, he used actually LLM and based on the DNA of the doggo, created the formula for the vaccine, and then the one of the research institute helped to produce this vaccine. And so the doggo was injected, and guess what? After just couple months, actually the severe cancer reduced, and the doggo is going to the direction of improvement. There was a lot of actually headlines about that last week and this week. There is already a TV show. We're going to put the picture as well of the doggo and the owners. To me, it's incredible example how it could be used. But the big problem then when it's happened with a human, I'm sure there would be tons of bureaucracy and blockage from the pharma businesses to do that. So hot or not?
Very, very hot. I saw this story and it reminded me of something a very famous techie told me once, that the Chinese have been doing this for many years and that there's a time at which there will be a time within the next 3 years, and this was 2 years ago that he told me, that this would become the norm if you know how to use ChatGPT or whichever LLM it is. It's not like you can just do this by, putting in any
Yeah.
old prompt. But this guy is a techie; he knew what he was doing. But I think it's exciting because the Chinese are already supposedly far ahead in this, and if it solves health crises around the world quicker, smarter, but with the right tests done to make sure it's not got harmful effects.
Yeah.
I say hot, hot, hot. Tech for
And
good.
with the right regulation. Tech for good could be exist only with the right regulation.
Okay, so here's mine. Again, AI. I told you I've been obsessing about AI all week because I can't get away from it. Ben Affleck's new AI startup
Ah,
has
yeah,
sold for, hang on a minute,
yeah,
$600 million. What Ben Affleck is doing in AI, probably making a ton of money because, he's got a smart business manager. Has he developed the tech? Obviously not. What do you think about it? $600 million for a tech startup in AI,
I
owned by Ben
mean,
Affleck.
yeah, happy for him. I mean, cute guy. For me, to be honest, not hot. Like, I don't know. Like, well, good for him. What can I say? Not hot from the some revolutionary perspectives and so on. Let's see what happened after.
Exactly. I think a lot of these AI companies are so overvalued that if you're investing in
Yeah,
them, so any of you investing in AI companies, how have your portfolios done? Tell us. Have you invested? Have you lost money? Have you made money? What have your returns been? I'm curious to understand how well people are doing in investing in these AI companies.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I have a next one again as well about AI. So there is a kind of negative trend that young woman Gen Z is spending more time on their admin work, and they call it like admin night at home on Fridays instead of like going out with the friends, dating, see the people. But why would you date those who want you in the kitchen, right? So I understand them. I understand them very well, and they're doing basically all the admin with chats, and it's creating again a huge as well trend of disconnecting people and be silenced with their chats. And another reason why is it happening, right? Or the main reason why that's happening is just because those women they feel like completely overwhelmed because they need to carry on the career where it's right now becoming harder and harder to build career as a woman. They need as well to juggle if they have families, maybe to help their parents, etc. And they need to do all their admin job. Plus, they as well feel that the environment at the workplace become very, very toxic. So they prefer than to spend actually the Friday night at home doing all the admin instead of really socializing. So hot or not.
Don't they usually get their friends together to do admin night? Hmm. If they're okay, if you're bringing your friends together to do admin night, and that this is part of your, I don't know, analog vibes or whatever it was called last
Then
week,
hot, then hot.
then very hot. If you're doing admin night on a Friday night all by yourselves, you need to get out, go to a bar. Don't have to talk to somebody you don't want to talk to, but just see humanity, because trust me, you will feel better, because humans are social creatures. So if you're doing it alone, not hot. If you're doing it with friends, do it for as long as it's fun, and till then it stays hot. When it becomes boring, it's not.
I'm actually, after this, hot or not, feel even more angry. And I feel like we ended up this episode, me being super angry and provocative this time.
That's not what the group chat is about. We're supposed to
No.
feel better. So it's a promise to you, Nina. Next week, we're going to do something fun. We're going to talk about something that's going to bring us happiness. We're going to
Yes.
talk about things that bring happiness and joy to other people as well. Because one thing we won't get stuck in is a doom loop of hell.
All right, squad. Your turn to tell us what you thought was hot or not. Drop a comment wherever you are listening. Maybe next time you will officially to join our group chat.
Catch you on your next sanity break here with us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, pretty much anywhere that you take a little break. Don't be shy, we'll be listening.